Hi everyone, I'm Law of the West, and this video is going to be all about the Aegis Javelin. And this massive vessel is categorized as being a capital class destroyer. And so far, it's the largest ship that a player could privately own as a permanent addition to their fleet. And the only ships in the UEE Navy that are bigger than the Javelin are the Pegasus, the Bengal Carrier, and the Dreadnought class Retribution. During the Invictus Fleet Week, I was given a special invitation to visit the UEE Warhammer. And while on board, my crew and I were lucky enough to be given a tour that was hosted by the same people who oversaw its daily operations. They told us about the Galley and how it was run. They gave us an overview of what the ship's weapon systems were like. Then we're allowed to see the ship's briefing room. And at one point, I'm going to turn it over to them so that they can describe in their own words what it's like to serve aboard this beast of a ship. The tour started the second that we stepped off the gangway and onto the Javelin.
Welcome aboard the UEES Warhammer. As part of this year's Invictus celebrations, I'd like to invite you to take a look around and get an up-close look at an active military vessel. Some of the actual crew members have graciously volunteered their time to explain what life is like aboard the ship. I would like to remind you that the entire ship is not available for exploration, so please be respectful of unauthorized areas. Thank you, and enjoy your visit.
The next step in our tour was the Galley, and I was rather impressed at how articulate this next speaker was. I don't want to bury the lead, but our host somehow managed to make an 80-second speech about the Galley interesting, and he really did that by painting a picture of what life was like on the chow line.
Hello everyone, my name's Lieutenant Horrigan, and as you can probably tell, this is Warhammer's mess hall. Definitely one of the more popular spaces on the ship. The mess has a fully automated dispensary since we operate on rotating shifts. We have a standard crew complement of 65 to 70, and meals need to be available at all times, so we have a culinary team always on duty, ready to lend support. Famous pilot Harry O'Reilly was once quoted as saying, if you ever want to take the temperature of a ship's crew, spend 20 minutes in their mess. Now this is one of the main social areas of the ships where crew members from different departments can catch up in their own downtime. We also use the mess for social events like birthdays, holidays, and promotions, since it's able to hold so many people. Our skipper, Captain Medcalf, is a big believer in casual gatherings. It's in an effort to entrench camaraderie. So we're in here pretty often. Now, you've probably noticed our games in the corner, so I'll just address the question that everyone asks. Yes, it's pretty competitive. The XO currently has the score to beat. Anyway, I'd like to invite you to have a look around.
And after that, our tour guide led us up to the bunks. And the only thing that I can say about our next speaker is that I think he was trying to make sure that he never gets stuck with getting tour guide duty ever again.
Hi folks, welcome to the Warhammer. I am leading Starman Detmer, and this, as you've probably guessed, is one of the two barracks on the ship. And I know, you must be thrilled to see where Navy personnel sleep, and let me be the first to tell you, it's every bit as exciting as promised. Javelins are pretty great when it comes to sleeping arrangements, as they have enough bunks for the full crew, which is amazing because it avoids situations known as hot bunking, where you swap out bunks with somebody on the opposite shift, and that is horrible. This one time on my old ship, I had to share with this guy who had just the worst smelling and I'm talking, you know, the military could have weaponized it kind of bad. And I had to try and fall asleep with that every day. So, yeah, after that, these bunks are a dream. And I'm just thinking that, actually, I don't think my CEO would like me talking about how bad it is. So, maybe just forget I said anything. Anyway, each one has special slots for personal effects, and is capable of sealing you up to give you a little privacy. People are always moving around the barracks. Sleeping schedules shift slightly too, so they can activate the full crew at a moment's notice if the ship enters heavy combat, you know. So you're kind of always sleeping with one eye open. I mean, we get shorter sleep schedules if we are patrolling dangerous space, so, I mean, you're already grabbing sleep when you can, and... Sorry, I am rambling. Otherwise, yeah, I'm not sure what to tell you. This is where we sleep. Not a whole lot of mystery to it, but I hope this has been enlightening. Please have a look around if you like, but don't touch anything in the bunks, as this is an active ship, and everything in here is the property of the crew. So, be cool.
They ended up ushering us off before he could finish talking, which apparently was supposed to keep going on for another 20 minutes. Along the way, we took a shortcut through what had to have been the largest mobile bathroom in all of Stanton. Then we went through another, and then another. Eventually, we made our way over to the starboard side of the ship where the gun emplacements were housed. And we were all a little giddy at this point because this was the part of the tour that we were really looking forward to.
All right, let's settle down. My name's Lieutenant Commander Alderman. I run the turret complement aboard the Warhammer. That means I'm in charge of coordinating fire between our various gunners during a combat engagement in order to maximize combat effectiveness. But when we aren't in combat, I strive to keep my team sharp by running through engagement drills and simulated encounters. Now, the Javelin comes standard with 15 turrets, 13 of which have embedded operators. There are 6 turrets like the one you see here that run along the side of the ship, each of which is equipped with a pair of size 7 cannons for larger targets and a pair of size 4 Gatlings for smaller targets like fighters and even incoming missiles and torpedoes. We've got 4 more turrets on the bow of the ship, armed with size 7 energy cannons and 3 gunners on the underside with the same. All this firepower is coupled with a heavy payload of ordnance to make the Warhammer a real problem for all sizes of ship, hence why we can be tasked to operate independently on patrols without support from the rest of the battle group. During the Xeno threat incursion, our gunners were responsible for the destruction of over 70 hostile elements and several capital ships, as well as protecting the ship from incoming ordnance. As a special treat, we've safetied this turret so you get a taste of what it feels like to be a gunner. All the weapons have been deactivated, so don't worry about accidental discharge. But I'll remind you this is an active military vessel, so be respectful all the same. Thank you, and have a great Invictus.
And I did take her up on her offer. I know that being able to do some actual skeet shooting was going to be a little too much to ask for, and I may not have been able to fire the guns, but this hands-on experience gave me a good feel for what the turret's speed is like. It was my first introduction to something that had 2 independent weapon systems that were linked onto the same platform. Overall, it was a fun experience, but give me some ammo next time so I can have some real fun. The last stop on our tour was the briefing room. I liked it because we got to sit down in a theater-like environment and listen to a pre-recorded speech that they'd set up for us.
Hello, and welcome to the UEES Warhammer. This Javelin-class destroyer was originally built by Aegis Dynamics and has been in active service since 2832. Launching under the command of Captain Omar Singh, the ship initially served as a combat support vessel in the 2nd Fleet, 6th Battle Group, a posting that put it close to the Van Duel front. The Warhammer saw action during the fall of Caliban in 2884, where it protected retreating civilian and naval forces when the system ultimately fell, earning a ribbon for valor in the process. For the next several decades, the Warhammer transitioned between fleets in a variety of support and patrol positions, even participating in the UEE push to reclaim the Nexus system in the 2930s. Most recently, the Warhammer distinguished itself as the primary combat vessel to repel the outlaw group known as Xenothreat from the Stanton system. Since then, the Warhammer has been placed in dry dock for repairs, but is heading back to active service once this year's Invictus festivities are concluded. The room you're currently seated in is the main briefing room for the entire ship. Based around a hollow volume built by Microtech, the crew gathers here to discuss everything from battle strategies to repair schedules. The Marine detail assigned to this ship also uses this room to plan out their boarding actions or outline combat strategies. This room has even acted as a venue for off-duty activities, such as vid screenings or sporting event parties. we hope that you'll take the opportunity to explore the ship and get an up-close look at one of the vanguards of order. On behalf of Captain Metcalf and the rest of the crew, I want to wish you a fantastic Invictus. I hope we see you next year.
The tour may have been short and sweet, but I was happy to be able to get even a glimpse of the Javelin's interior. The sheer size and scope of it was almost too much to take in, and we'd only seen a small portion of it. But I'm looking forward to seeing a lot more of it next time. Before we finally disembarked, our crew paused for a second and took one final look back at the Warhammer. The Stanton sun was setting behind the Javelin, which seemed like a fitting end for the tour. I'd like to thank the crew for all their hard work and for the Navy for giving me this opportunity. And I'd like to thank you as well for being here to share it with me. I've been your host, Law of the West. Thanks for watching, and take care.